One people, you're having a beautiful morning to the Pan African Bliss. My name is Joby. Welcome to the Pan African Bliss. It's the middle of the 21st century. A beautiful day ahead. Yes, karibuni sana. Hope you guys are doing amazing. As you know, right now, that is my favorite jam. Every single day, I listen to that. But welcome and wishing you a beautiful day ahead. I'm loud and clear, and of course, karibuni sana to another episode. Today, we're not in the studio. Our lights are not on the studio, but that doesn't stop the work from literally running along. Karibuni sana once again. I hope your week so far is amazing. It's exactly 2 minutes on the dot, 2 p.m. on the dot, and welcome to yet another beautiful conversation of learning. Today, we're going to be learning. Of course, like I promised, every Thursday, I'm going to be doing something to do with either farming or some health benefits, just the same way we have on Wednesday on the Africa Today show, how I share histories. Every Thursdays, I promised last week, which I was very not sure which day I'm going to settle with, but I've settled with Thursday, where we're going to be sharing some amazing farming techniques or long lost techniques that can help us, especially in these hard economical times. And this actually works so well, or rather it's some good information for those who are looking forward to either invest either in Africa, or if you have a farm. Always say if you have a garden at the back of your house, or if you have an extra farm somewhere, you can use this information and put all this information into into practice, into action. And in coming years, you're going to become either a big supplier, a big producer, and feed yourself. Because today's conversation, I actually love it because it goes back to something Keith mentioned yesterday in the evening. When we we're finishing the shows, he talked about it's crazy. He doesn't know the long the methods that our old generation, I'd say the people, our great grandparents, let me say from that generation, our great grandparents that used to preserve food. So today we're going to be looking at that. And not just food preservation, actually, it comes also with some really health benefits. This actually, I love the video because it breaks down how the system actually made people forget all this. And what people are using today in terms of preservation, it's the fridge and all that. But back then, of course, we've talked about, personally, I've mentioned a few things when it comes to food preservation that we've learned in Africa. There is a smoking of foods like, let's say, maize corns, some fishes, meat, and it's all part of this conversation. So, karibuni, and I hope you learn something out of it. And as we talk about farming, it's interesting because you can see countries like Mozambique are facing hunger crisis as we talk today. We have a country like Sudan, which is we know, of course, is under attack. How they are actually, of course, as they exploit the resources and the people, how the toxins are being blamed for mass livestock poisoning. So we're going to be discussing about that as well. But starting with today's conversation, since we're talking also about health, gonna look at some very common conversation when it comes to us as melanin people and the self hate that has been taught among East Africans, and how actually it has destroyed many mentalities. We're talking about bleaching, and I have a very interesting video here. I remember the last time I think I talked about this fully, probably in 2023. Yeah, probably in 2023. That was the last time I covered this conversation of skin bleaching. So apparently, we have some countries like Rwanda, in Africa. Rwanda is one of the countries that actually has banned the importation of skin bleaching products. And I do believe that is some good information. Rwanda is one of the countries we've seen also they have banned importation of second-hand clothes, which do come with a lot of diseases. People literally leave that gap or information out. Some clothes, especially if you wear them without washing them, you might end up getting some skin rash or end up even acquiring some diseases you never knew where they came from, because most of these clothes come in here when they're dirty. And there are people who just wear them that way, literally without washing them. I'd say I'm kind of guilty of that, but I know what I have to wear that way and what don't have to wear that way. Let's say like it's in the evening and it's cold and I didn't carry a sweater, I'm gonna grab me a cheap second-hand sweater, and of course, since it's cold, I'm gonna wear it that way. But there's some specific clothes like vests, underwear. You have to wash them, before you put them on your body. So, karibuni. But also speaking about health, which is your wealth, we have amazing organic supplements under our application. So, in case you're here for the first time, ensure you do grab yourself that some of those supplements. And maybe you might escape what you can see our women, our men are doing to keep themselves in quote healthy. But yes, this is Brain in Focus. I do love Brain in Focus because I do say critical thinking is lost amongst our communities, our countries, and in today's world. So Brain and Focus does amazing magic, but we also have other supplements in the like of proteins. We have vitamins, we have skincare products that can boost your health in different ways. So ensure you check the app on the Google Play Store if you are an Android user. If you are an iPhone user, we are up and available on our website. That is the www.blackoutfirenetwork.com. And through the app, you can get yourself all these supplements. Support us as well with anything you can. We do appreciate your support. You can cash up us. That is at the $ Mr. Blackout Fire streaming down below. In case I'm saying it super quick, but also we have the application on the last page we have the donation page where you can send anything to our amazing platform and keep us going with I don't know. Google is tripping. Why is Google picking up? I'm rapping. Am I rapping? But grab yourself some Brain and
Unlock your
Focus. We're
full
gonna be back
potential
after
with Brain
this.
and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
At a very affordable price. Now, as we get started with today's conversation, it's very interesting. And I'm so sure this is going to make people like Keith, to be specific, very mad. And most of you, and you should literally, because the self-hatred taught upon Africans is really, really mind-blowing. The last time I shared a similar video like this, I think again is 3 years ago, and it was about skin bleaching and how we had women specifically. Actually, it was coming from Nigeria, I remember. The video was from Nigeria, where we saw some women who are actually exposed on how they're even bleaching their children. And apparently on this video, it's the same. There's a woman, I don't know if it's from Kenya or which specific country. She talks about how she's been using skin bleaching products. And when she gave birth to a black baby, since she's been bleaching, she decided to put her child also on the same product. talk about brainwashing. It's really, really crazy. So I want us to start with this, and I'm going to give, of course, my reviews on this. And then, since we're talking about health, like I said, we're going to be discussing about 100 years ago skills and knowledge that was being used when it comes to food preservation. This conversation is actually coming from a question Keith asked yesterday, talking about how many people have lost, or many people don't know the methods that our old generations used to preserve food. But we start with this information here about skin bleaching, and I hope you guys do get to enjoy, or rather learn something about it. It's crazy that I wonder why people look at this is women, being honest. Women have that mentality or mindset of thinking if you're light skin, that is gonna make you the most. And sadly, because it has worked in some people or some women. I think we've talked about, especially this conversation, we keep on having it either on the Rhythm Scoop show, on the Tobonge show, or the Reaction Time, where we've exposed if you can't get a job through the Kamala way, and especially if you're dark, if you can't get a job if you're dark, dark, and I'm not saying dark, like literally if you're melanated, not light skin, you know, through the Kamala way, you have to skin bleach. You find that most of the light skinned women get more favors in many industries when it comes to job application or many things. Sadly, I think this is a mentality that has really, really deprived people from many opportunities. And not only that, it has really destroyed now many women, because if I can't get a job because I'm not light skinned, and let's say we went a group of 10, of let me give even a group of 5 women, and among the five, 4 of them are light skinned, I'm the dark one, and then I see they all get a job and I don't. Of course, the first thing that comes in the mind, and looking at how the society looks at light skinned women, I'm gonna be forced to go and bleach. And I'm not talking from my own perspective, but this is the mentality of now many people. But Karibu Sana K. Williams, hope you're doing amazing. Free you, and good morning, and wishing you a beautiful day. And this is super crazy. No, Katie, come on, K. Williams. Don't be crazy, please. Katie never used to skin bleach. That is no. She's just light skin. She was naturally light skin. Her Iwaton light skin. There is nothing to do with products over there. Nothing. Nothing at all. Now look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Because this is how, being honest, and I'm not even shaming, this is what one of my aunties look like from my dad's side, because this lady used to literally use a lot of skincare bleaching products. Man, she was light as a mzungu. I'm not even capping. Like, she was really as light as a white person, as white as a white person. Let me say that. Now if you look at her today, she's really scary. Why more scary than what you can see on the screen? Because the all those years of using, let's say three, because I think she used the products for like 3 4 years, I'm not really sure, because I met her bleaching when I met my dad, and then after moving out of my dad's house, the last time I met her, she was really looking crazy. So all those years of using skincare products, I mean this skin bleaching product, and then you stop, the damage is way bigger. And I understand this comes with cancer, skin damaging, cancer, and a lot of things that are going to be mentioned here. Now, you know what I understood from watching this video is that now when you look at the Chinese or the white people who have allowed these products to be, and our government too, because our government is playing a big role in allowing this to happen in the continent. And then now we go back to the people who are making these chemicals and importing them in Africa and making money off women and men too, who are brainwashed to self-hate. What I've understood is actually these people understand the black self-hate so bad. I don't know if it really makes sense. Like these people understand black hate so bad, the self-hatred, that they have understood the market and they are making money out of us. It's crazy because if you look at it, white people, the Chinese, the Asians, whatever, all of them, these people have figured out a way on how to take money off black people, even if it means something is hurting you. Like they've figured out on how to you spending your money to grow their markets, which is a market that is meant to kill you and destroy you. That is how bad this is. This is so sad. This is now where we go back to something I think we mentioned this week when one of those ladies I shared her video and she talked about and keep correcting that. And she said sometimes it's so exhausting to be black. And shout out to Lynn Googie. Was it Lynn Googie? No, there's one of these ladies I share her videos from TikTok, and she said the same thing. No, not the same thing, but she was like, there's something beautiful in being black, and I hope many people can realize that there's something just special. You'll wake up and you're just like grateful to be black. You don't get no sunburns, you don't need no sunscreen, you know. Your body can heal itself. You don't need all these processed type of chemicals or medicines to cure yourself, because we had natural remedies on how to cure our bodies or protect our bodies, literally. And the sun is one of it. The sun is one of the working products, or I don't know, mechanisms, I don't know how to call it, literally, when it comes to us melanated, the best, literally. But it's sad, someone like this, because they've already started bleaching, they can't stand on the sun for so long, because that's another effect of now bleaching. You could maybe sit on the sun for so long before all this, but the moment you start skin bleaching, you can't sit on the sun at all, because you're gonna end up with sunburns and all that. So apparently, pardon my whatever my adverts. Let me allow this to skip. So looking at that as we wait for this to skip, looking at Rwanda. Rwanda banned skin bleaching products. That was in 2019. Let me look at that very quickly, very quickly as we continue. Let's see, let me not give these people. Okay, let me pause on that. So Rwanda did crack down on skin bleaching agents by seizing the cosmetics. So that was in 2019, where the skin bleaching is a $1 billion industry in a predominantly black countries. See, but some governments want that to change. Rwanda is one of them, pointing to the chemicals has harmful health effects, and the country has begun a crackdown to enforce its ban on bleaching agents, especially hydroquinone, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and mercury that are found in cosmetics. And they're saying that Rwanda and other countries Rwanda and other countries, people use cosmetics to bleach their skins because they feel the lighter skin is the ideal or indicates higher social status. Just like I said, dark skinned people do not necessarily see people like them in billboards, movies, and advertisements, and dark skinned celebrities sometimes grow more popular after bleaching their skins. And this all makes it easier to believe that a darker skin is for less value or is not considered as beautiful. The mentality is really, really bad. And we need to get rid of this. So let me pause it. I'll give Kagame props when it comes to some things and how sometimes he's very mindful on how to protect his country from a very bad image. I do give him props. From banning second-hand clothes, now this. I didn't even know that Rwanda was one of the countries that has banned skincare products. I was learning today. I have no sound. Are you sure? For how long? Let me see. I don't know if it really makes sense. Oh, now, look. My video has no sound all that time. I didn't even realize. Man, this is what I hate about using a new laptop. I swear. Hold on. But look at this. Look at this. Because this is how. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, because I can hear myself. Dang. Okay, let me see how I can correct that. Because it even took me time to understand how to share a single screen. So just give me a minute, tafadhali. Okay, there's something I didn't allow. Okay, let me see. Just a second. Damn. Okay, so I'll share it till where it is. I'll share till where it is, and then I hope I got it right now. Yeah, I hope I have it right. I'll share till where it is. It is on the how many minutes? Second minute. Okay, so let me allow them just to talk. Then I'll pick it up from there. I've just been talking. No, sorry about that.
Across parts of Africa, when the conversation turns to beauty, you'll often hear the phrase light skin. Sometimes whispered, sometimes proudly declared, sometimes followed by a group of men nodding like they've just discovered a new scientific law.
Okay, we're good.
But now, something interesting is happening.
So we're going inside the shop right now. The brigadier is looking for someone selling the illegal skin whitening products.
I'm Brigadier Motar, the station commander. These products are banned.
It's illegal to sell any cream that claims to bleach or lighten your skin.
It's like she wasn't aware that she's not supposed to be selling this in the shop. We've just confiscated few, I think 6 or 7 of these skin lightening creams.
Across Africa, governments are beginning to push back. Some countries are no longer treating skin bleaching as just a beauty trend. They are treating it as a public health crisis. And in some cases, they are banning it entirely.
Soap seller Alaji Traore mixes together skin lightening soaps that come from Ivory Coast, Mali, and Ghana.
One of the most aggressive crackdowns comes from Rwanda.
Agne Awemana is preparing an ointment she says will make her more attractive to her husband, who prefers light-skinned women. But she's concerned that a government crackdown on the creams will impact both on her beauty routine and her identity.
If I don't have these products, I'm afraid I'll become too dark, like I used to be. I still have a few products left.
I agree, Keith. It's crazy because I've never seen this in Black American women don't do this. I've never, and maybe if they are, it's not even that big of a number. It's crazy because this is just like you can see from what I'm reading, from the article I'm reading. In Rwanda and other countries, people use cosmetic to bleach their skin because they feel that lighter skin is the ideal or indicates higher social status. And then going back to the first line, it also says that is only used predominantly in the black countries. Crazy.
Can't be silent. Yeah, I gotta say, shout out to Dr. Mumby mentioned this too. But I always known this. Why is it that Black Americans were the
You
only really
knew?
black people who never did skin bleaching here? And we were the ones that were. Well, you had the Islanders and the people in South American blacks were also enslaved. I mean, colonization was like. Why was our mind not damaged? It was damaged for its colorism, granted. But why did we never go to this extreme of this damn bleaching shit? And I never seen anything like this until I was a teenager going up to New York City to visit my Jamaican girlfriend, and it was in their community. I said, what the fuck is this shit? Because it came from the island, from these island Negroes, from these Caribbean Negroes. Like, what is this shit? What is this? What is this? Said that you'll know what that is, Keith. I don't know, just do goofy Jamaican accent. Anyway, so the skin bleaching cream. I said, what? Who bleaching what? What? You guys bleach your skin? You guys are ashamed to be black? See, I was young. I didn't know the culture. I know it had damaged black people's mind. Black people's minds are fucked up. White people have fucked black people more so than, that's why Black Americans, we stand up for everything mostly. That's why we're known for that. Mostly all these other black people have fallen under white supremacy and then lies about white people. It's that you got this much self-hate of being what supposedly you say your fake Jesus or your fake Allah made you, right? That's what you say. But you don't like the way Allah or fake Jesus made you? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I know it's bad now because Joby's always said, you guys remember Rumor's eyes darker than Joby. Rumor's eyes said she couldn't get no job because she's black in Zimbabwe, an African country. She couldn't be the receptionist out in front because she's too dark. I was like, this shit, you African minds are fucked up. You fucked up in the head. You can't even be black in your own continent. You've been damaged so much, destroyed so much mentally. I mean, this is psychotic. You've been damaged this bad. And the Nigerians are the worst, I think, with them and the Jamaicans. That skin bleaching.
Even in Kenya,
I know. It's bad in Kenya too. Yeah, well, it's bad all over Africa. So I'm just saying the worst of the worst. I guess I haven't seen the people in Kenya come on social media looking crazy yet. Seen the Nigerians and the Ghanaians and the Jamaicans and shit crazy. But it looks. You guys look terrible with that skin bleaching shit. It looks.
In Kenya, the difference is people will start calling you out. You're not gonna walk in peace. That's the only difference. You're not gonna be proud because your skin bleaching. People will be looking at you crazy. They'll be talking about you, which will make you either hide in the house, don't come in the public because you know you're bleaching. That's it.
There you go. That's good. That means you have some goddamn African pride.
Mm-hmm.
These people have no pride. They've been destroyed mentally. Remember, they got it. And it also goes back to that white God they worship. So you can't even see God in yourself because there's some cracker with a dirty robe on walking around with fucked up feet. That's the image of God in your head. That's the image of God. And to be funny, you guys do that balloon test, that balloon dating game, that pop the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
The black women are still on this Jesus shit. I don't know if it was a Kenyan lady, of course, American Kenyan. These other people, they all came in. I need a man who knows the Lord and knows Jesus. And every black man, boom, balloon, pop, 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 pop. Every time they came in with that Jesus, now when a man knows the Lord, all the black men pop their balloon. You got to go with that shit. Pop, 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 pop. So it's the women that mostly still caught up in this goofy fake religion. But when you don't see yourself even in your own God, guys, this is psychologically damaging. That's why you have no values. Not even your God is black. You psychologically fucked up. You're the oldest people, and sadly enough, your governments have failed you. Because most of you goopy Negroes this now don't even know that you're the oldest people on the planet. So how can it be any white God? How can it be any white God? You ain't know this. You think white people came in first. You so scrambled in the head. You're so backward and ignorant. And that's the self-hate you carry. See, that's what I'm saying. You pass that shit along to your children. Your children know your mom and dad. They don't know you mentally fucked up. Like my dad, mentally fucked up in the head. He worshipped everything white with his coon. For me, I was smart enough to know that he was a coon. Even when I was a kid. There's something wrong with this cat. But, because I had certain resources to get to know who I was as a black person. But this is sad. And you can't come back and destroy. Also, remember, this stuff goes into your skin. This shit is cancer causing.
Mm-hmm.
This shit causes cancer. This is dangerous. But you've never seen black people in America doing this shit, ever. Only one you got, Michael Jackson. He said he got a disease, but that skin bleaching, that nigga ain't no disease. That nigga hated himself because his father told the whole family, everybody all got fake noses. Every Jackson got a fake nose. They didn't want the nigga nose. So his family, see, that's when he grew up in a family of self-hating coons. His mama and daddy were self-hating coons, the Jackson family. Everybody all got fake noses. And Michael just went to the extreme with the fake nose and the bleaching of the skin shit. Because his daddy told him black wasn't good as a child. So, it ridiculed him for being black. That's how psychologically damaged this being under European rule has done to people. Because you don't see yourself in the commercials. You don't see yourself in nothing. I'm shocked that Kenya started putting black billboards of black women, but I went to Africa 20 years ago. I would see white advertised. I see white people on billboards in Africa. White women, white men. You out of your rabbit. I'm in Africa. I'm seeing a bunch of white people as advertisements. You know how psychologically damaging that is? When you don't even see yourself in your own advertisements? So you psychologically fuck. So you have no value on blackness. You have no value on the most beautiful skin in the planet. The most, just the greatest thing ever. And you don't have no value because you've been mentally fucked up since a child. And your parents are too stupid. They're fucked up, so they teach you the same backwards shit they got. So it's sad. Oh, man. Don't ever bleach around me talking about you want to be my wife. You got to go.
Let me continue with this one. I just heard you mention Dr. Bombi, and I thought about it sometime. I was like, will she bleach it because she got those sunburn, the effect of after bleach on under eyes? But I was like, I'm not gonna judge her because
I'm not saying she bleaches. I didn't say nothing about her bleaching. I didn't say nothing about Dr. Mumby bleaching. No, I said no. I said Dr. Mumby said that black Americans. So I never knew that Dr. Mumby lived in America. I never knew she lived in Chicago. Then she mentioned she lived years in Chicago. I never knew that. I said, and she said, black Americans. Because I said, how she always know our culture? She ain't never lived here, but she lived in Chicago.
For me, she looks like she was using skin bleach products before because of her under eye.
I hope not. She never. I don't know. I look close.
Videos back then, and now look at them.
Oh yeah. Okay, I had to look. If I was just agreeing with she said that black Americans are the only ones that have pride in being black more than any other black nation in the world, and that you don't never see black bleaching culture in black people in America. I said, nah, that's nothing. We never were ashamed to be black. We were never ashamed to be black. We were never ashamed, but I had to look, now I gotta look at Dr. Mumby sideways now. I never thought she was bleaching.
Because I know.
I hate the thought of becoming darker.
The government introduced a ban on skin whitening products in November, and since then they've seized.
That pause again. That's what I said. The black woman's mind glow is so fucked up in the head. She wears weed. She wears other people's hair on her head. Like ain't her head. She skin bleached. The black woman who was the original woman. Man, this is so fucked up in their head that she hates being the original woman. She thinks being the original woman is bad. She don't like her hair. She don't like her regular nails. She got caveman nails with the shit so long. She got these ridiculous lashes on. She looks like a fuck. They made the black woman today so that looks more like a clown. Certain areas. Lashes is out of control, crazy. You can't even go into any corporate world. You'll be fired. You have lashes. Don't have shit on. Just ridiculous shit. The black woman doesn't like being a black woman. It is crazy. So you got billion-dollar industries based on black women's hatred of themselves. This is fucking crazy. This is how fucked up, and we gotta be. This is how fucked up globally the black woman's mind is. That they have so much self-hate that you got these billion-dollar industries. But go ahead, Joker. Crazy.
If you know anything about Rwanda's government, you know that they don't usually do things halfway and they don't mess around. Things like
They should have been there. They become a problem then.
strict city cleanliness rules enforced, and now skin bleaching products also banned.
Before you banned it, you should have had a thing with these goopy Nigerian movies with all them skin bleaching motherfuckers on that. You should have said you should have had a meat, but you goopy Negroes don't ever do shit to help you help your people. You should have known all them goopy movies, these light-skinned people were going to affect their minds because your people are uneducated and not sophisticated because you have school fee systems and most of them can't afford to go to school. So you should have known most of them were going to be ignorant and easy influenced. That's called propaganda. You should have known this. So you just banning the shit. You can't ban now what's in their mind. They're going to get it somehow on the black market. Your people's minds are fucked up. Can't just ban the cream because they're going to get the cream. They're going to get it through the black market. Your people's minds are fucked up. They hate being black. They ain't got nothing to do with the skin bleach. That's a symptom. You didn't deal with the root problem. The root problem is that your people hate being black, and you designed a culture that doesn't venerate black people. Just like Rumi soldiers in Zimbabwe. They don't venerate the black people. Even in Africa, they venerate light-skinned people that are closer to white. So you got a culture that's anti-black. That's the root. So you try to stop the symptom of the root ain't gonna work, moron. You got to go to the root of the problem. The problem is that you got anti-blackness that you never rooted out in Africa. And they hate being black. So you might ban the shit, great. So what? People just get shit through the black market, moron. You haven't changed your culture. Do you got a bunch of black people on TV in your country? Africans, not light-skinned people like me. African people. Are they the majority on your TV, which they should be? Are you venerating black women, the dark-skinned women? Or are you putting a value on light-skinned closer to white? You got a cultural problem. And you're not going to change that because you ban skin bleaching. That's the symptom of the disease. But that's not the cause. You're trying to, see, you can never, when you deal with symptoms, you can never cure nothing because you're not going to the cause. The cause is your fucked up culture in Africa. You take it on the white man's culture. That's why you got so much sex trafficking. Black women worshiping white. You got old ass white men with young black girls. Because their minds are fucked up. You haven't changed the culture. Because the white man's not going to allow you to change the culture of you saying black is good and black should be on the top. So you're not going to stop this shit. And that's why this Arab, they like this shit. These Arabs, they're not saying this Al Jazeera shit. They're not saying that this is a hit piece on black people. Understand when you begin a hit piece that you look like they helping you. This is the Muslims saying these niggas are still backward, they're stupid, and they don't even like themselves. That's why we put them in slavery. That's why we look down on them. That's why we disrespect their ass. They don't even like being themselves. That's what this is showing. Go ahead, Joby.
Authorities blacklisted over 1,000 cosmetic products containing chemicals
Oh,
like
crazy as
hydroquinone
shit.
and mercury. These substances are commonly used in skin lightening creams, and they can cause serious health issues and
Yeah,
problems.
cancer.
You're talking
But
kidney
they don't
damage.
care. But
Have you
they've been told this. They don't care. See, this is when you're dealing with somebody mentally fucked up. You're dealing with deep self-hatred. Deep. It goes deep. And the most beautiful most beautiful women in the world, black women, because of their blackness, because they don't age. But their minds are so fucked up. And none of these fucking morons in any of these fake African countries have changed the goddamn root issue. Anti-black hatred. Go ahead, Joby.
skin disorders, permanent discoloration, in some cases, even increased cancer risk?
Cancer.
The government stepped in.
We are now putting much efforts, like educating people, going around and selling those illegal products.
Officials began confiscating products, inspecting shops,
And
and
pause it,
warning
and
employers.
pause it. And now we're gonna get deep. I'm gonna get deep and hurt some people's feelings. So you got these old niggas that run Africa, these old fucking backward, retarded ass niggas who grew up under colonialism and worshiping white people. So that's why they never changed the system. You should see yourself on TV. You should see yourself on the billboards in your country. There should be black women, no white at all. But their minds are so fucked up from being colonized. That's why you're not supposed to be having 67-year-old fucking old ass niggas run the country. Because their minds have already been destroyed from growing up in an unjust whitewash system. So they haven't had the common sense. You know, if I took over Kenya in the 60s, first thing I would have did, education, that's got to be changed. First thing. Second thing, black people gotta learn being black. You've been here, white people 100 years telling you you ain't shit. Black ain't good. Black sucks. Black sorry. I gotta now raise my people's confidence level to love who they are. Those are your first tasks. So that's what the Ibn Torah. It's been Ibn Torah's done at 2026 because it was never done. So that's what you got the self-hate from. You never took back being African. Not in your mind, you never took it back. Your movies got these bleached out, goopy Nigerians, these bleached out, goopy South Africans. Both them motherfuckers hate being black. South Africans hate being black. That's why they beating up on black people. Sorry to tell you the truth. Sorry to hurt your feelings with your goopy piano. That's why they're weak. They hate being black. That's a fact. Nigerians hate being black. That's a fact. They never fought no fucking revolution for shit about black people. They're the most cooned out motherfuckers on the continent. That's a fact, and that's known. Even they know it. That's why they got the skin bleaching and that goofy Nollywood shit, because they hate blackness. So, you were supposed to change the culture. Go ahead, Joby.
Basically telling the beauty industry, if your creams melt people's skin, maybe you shouldn't be selling it. Which, when you think about it, it's fairly a reasonable policy.
But unregulated versions are easily available to buy illegally on the internet. This could become dangerous for people like Awamana, who are not ready to give up the notion that lighter skin is more beautiful.
Rwanda isn't the only country in Africa taking this action. Ghana also introduced restrictions.
We're in Accra market, and you can see there's a lot of these bleaching products being displayed. If you look at Cara White, she is actually super, super white.
The government banned importation of products containing hydroquinone, one of the most common bleaching chemicals. This means certain skin lightening products simply can no longer legally enter the country. But banning doesn't always mean eliminating them. Because where there's demand, supply always has a way of sneaking in. Sometimes through informal markets, sometimes through online stores, sometimes through DIY, sometimes through that one shop that suddenly became very quiet when inspectors walk in.
When I was 23, I stood in front of my local cosmetic counter. This was the first time I had my first bleaching cream encounter. Will this work? I asked the Asian assistant.
In Côte d'Ivoire, also known as Ivory Coast, the government also banned several skin whitening products.
I've been using these products since my son was 1. I mix this with this soap. And then I put these 2 tubes inside to change the tint. To clean their skin, everyone wants their child to be pretty.
Imagine this one is bleaching the child. This is just so bad.
For the child to have a beautiful complexion, you can't have clean skin and for your child to still be dirty.
Health officials warned that
That's you literally putting cancer on your child as young as that. This is just so sad.
bleaching creams were causing serious skin damage among users. Doctors were reporting increased cases of skin thinning, severe irritation, permanent patches, and discoloration. Basically the opposite of what the advertisements promised. Because many bleaching creams promise perfect skin. But what some users actually end up with is a dermatologist appointment.
It's the husbands who push women to do that. It's not the women who love the product. They are forced into it.
Interestingly, South Africa took action much earlier than many people realize.
I'm joining Brigadier Delasoe Mota, head of the police in Witbank, close to Johannesburg. She and her team are about to raid 5 premises. She's not looking for drugs or guns, but beauty products.
So we're going inside the shop right now. The brigadier is looking for someone selling the illegal skin whitening products.
I'm Brigadier Mota, the station commander. These products are banned.
It's illegal to sell any cream that claims to bleach or lighten your skin.
It's like she wasn't aware that she's not supposed to be selling this in the shop. We've just confiscated few, I think 6 or 7 of these skin lightening creams.
Skin bleaching creams are big business. A recent study suggested 1 in 3 South African women buy them.
Open that store for us. Open it or we'll make the door open. The fact that you're behind the counter, it means you're fully accountable for what is happening in this shop.
They are banned because scientists say if you use them, you risk getting skin cancer and other serious conditions. But the brigadier tells me as soon as the police confiscate the creams, the vendors restock.
It is hard to police because these are not South African products, they are imported.
So why do you think there's a rise in these skin whitening products? I mean, there's 525 products here from the raid.
It is a demand. It is because of a demand that is there.
Decades ago, South Africa became one of the first countries in the world to restrict hydroquinone-based skin lightening products. This decision came after medical research highlighted the risks associated with long-term use. But even with regulations in place, the demand for lighter skin has never fully disappeared, and I don't think it ever will. Because the issue goes deeper than cosmetics. It touches something more complicated. Beauty standards, social perception, and yes, dating preferences.
Cartoons make complex ideas easy to understand and are...
Sorry about that. Let me allow the advert to skip. Okay.
My skin, and which makes it to look like this.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. In many African societies, lighter skin has historically been associated with beauty. And like it or not, Many African men openly say they prefer light-skinned women, sometimes jokingly, sometimes seriously, sometimes with the confidence of a man who believes his opinion represents the entire continent. Of course, not everyone agrees, and the preferences are changing. But for decades, those beauty standards help fuel the skin lightening market. Because if society tells you that lighter skin equals beauty, some people will try to get there by any means necessary, even if it involves questionable creams sold in small plastic containers with labels like Ultra Perfect Gold Supreme Plus, which sounds very suspicious. Other African countries have also taken regulatory steps. In Kenya, products containing mercury and certain bleaching chemicals are illegal. Authorities periodically seize shipments and warn customers about the dangers.
Still being sold. They're still being sold. We know is this one of this lady? I think even someone was mentioning them on the comment section some time back last year. She's called Ntanzola, and she went viral for her advertising these skincare products. I know another one. There's so many. Literally, people who sell these skincare products. So, despite the banning, it doesn't mean that they're not allowing this importation of still these chemicals in the country. It's still happening. So the ban is not that much effective. Still
That's
doing
what I
it.
just said. They'll get it to the black market, Joe. It's not the ban that's gonna work, Joe. You got to change the culture, the mindset to
Mm-hmm.
make people even want it. So, like I said, banning don't work, Joe, because you never change the culture of the white man coming and
Mm-hmm.
dominating Africans and cause themselves to hate themselves and worship white and light, Joby. So you kept the culture of black hate in Africa, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like you admitted to me, Joby, 2 or 3 years ago. You can't
Mm-hmm.
get a job because you're dark. They don't want
Yeah.
you because you're dark.
Yeah.
You're in Africa. You see that's how dangerous the culture's been. That's how corrupt the white man is done. And I mean, it was done. It was done with us too. We just didn't do the skimmage, but we value light skin over dark skin, Joe. So we had that same conditioning. White man did that where he went. That's how you know the savage is the same. He knows this because he put the same conditioning to black people globally. That's why all our early HBCUs that we look at, historically black universities and college and university, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those when you look at those, when they start making them about 150 years, those are all mulattoes. Right? Because the slave master didn't want his bastard kid, right, his light skinned mulatto in his schools. So they created HBCUs to put the mulattoes, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
so 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 yeah. So whenever you would go to those black colleges, Joby,
Mm-hmm.
the black was bad, Joby, and the light skin was good. That was taught at those colleges, Joby. That being African was bad and light was good.
Mm-hmm.
So we were taught the same shit, Joby.
Meanwhile, in Tanzania, regulators also restrict harmful skin lightening ingredients.
I used to use beauty products containing hydroquinone, and it badly affected my skin because I developed patches on the face. I went to the doctor and I was advised to stop using it and instead use aloe vera.
But once again, the challenge isn't just banning the product, it's changing the demand. Because skin bleaching isn't just a small cosmetic trend, it's a massive global business. The global skin lightening market is worth billions of dollars. Major beauty companies have spent decades marketing the idea that lighter skin equals success. advertisements promoting brighter, fairer, clearer skin, sometimes indirectly, sometimes very directly. And those messages travel across
And
continents,
remember,
including
and Joby, it's so
Africa.
sick, man. Remember, that's a genetic defect, Joby. It's recessive genes. The
Yep.
likeness and it's bad genetics. But the marketing has been so good since they took over the world. They got you thinking bad is good. That's how crazy it is. That's that's bad. That's bad genetics when you like, Joby.
So today, Africa finds itself in an interesting moment. On one side, the governments are banning dangerous chemicals, regulating cosmetics, trying to protect public health. But on the other side, social pressure still exists. Beauty standards are slowly evolving, and the global beauty industry is still selling the dream of lighter skin, which means the real battle against skin bleaching may not be happening in government offices. It may be happening somewhere else entirely, and that is in people's minds. Because banning a cream is easy. Changing cultural belief
Is
No, Joby, your
is
sound went
much
out
harder.
again.
again? Damn. Let me check. Yeah, but literally the video is even over. But he's saying banning, you can ban the products, but banning them, changing the mindset of the people is really, really hard because people believe if you don't bleach, you're not gonna get opportunities, you're not gonna get this, you're not an ideal person. It's the mindset, the brainwashing. So hey, we have a lot of, I always say we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And sadly, because I used to think maybe back then, like, let me say actually like 7 years ago, with all this exposure of how skin bleaching products are damaging people, people would stop, but it's not. It's even getting worse. It's getting worse. I see every day women who are being posted by these pages which are selling skincare products, and the number keeps growing because the women have been, and even men, understand, even men, because in countries like Congo, I believe also a bit of Nigerian men, but mostly it's Congo to be specific, that I'm sure of, that their men bleach. And it's even bad. You can see even with the current president of the Republic of Congo, he has bleached. He has been using skin bleaching products. So you can ban all these products to not come in Africa, but you can't change the mentality. You can't change what already has been set there. And it comes even with the system of education and other many things, and even the system of which should be given, because it comes even to job opportunities. The fact that we can see people are doing this is because of many denied chances. So you're saying I have to be lighter for me to get a job here, I have to be lighter for me to benefit this. So that reprograms people's mindset. You might even have grown up not knowing anything to do with light skin, the differences and all that, but until it comes to now you getting a job, that's when you're like, God damn, this is a problem. It's really, really crazy. But as we shift, please, just speaking about health, that is one of our conversation for today. As we get into the second hour of the next conversation, um we have a question Keith posed yesterday, and of course, I did my few research on how generations back then, we're talking about the group of our great grandparents, how they used to preserve food. And I love this video because it's actually explaining so much of not only today's modern world, but also they're going back to back skills, how they were applied, and how today's system, the government, the system has changed the people's thinking of you need to adapt to this so that you can live a better life. And it isn't, because personally, if you ask me, I do believe, I don't know, but I don't really believe that, but there is some pros and cons of everything, and especially in today's modern world, and the way the system has been set, there's always pros and cons to so much. Growing up, I remember my dad we never grew up with a fridge because my dad used to believe storing food in the fridge is not good. It makes it lose its taste and all that. And that's why you go back to looking at this, you'll find that this is how our old generation used to actually preserve food. So this conversation actually, I'd say again, is backed by a question Keith asked yesterday. How did the old generation used to store food? And do many of you have any of these skills? Because this video explains it all, from not just food, but also foods that were medicine. Because since we're talking about health and how people have been damaged mentally, I hope you also learned something out of this. Today's conversation of farming. I said we're going to be doing farming videos every Thursday. So I hope today you learned something.
In 1910, the census counted nearly 1 million black farmers in this country, and our people owned as much as 19 million acres of American soil. About one of every 7 farmers in the whole nation was a black man or woman standing on their own ground.
So actually something that I understood from watching this video and listening to this and looking at what I was sharing yesterday, it gives me an answer on why many families could survive with $3 if a family of 7 people, $4, $7, because people had land. People could farm all these beans, the collard greens, skuma wiki, which we call skuma wiki.
Yeah.
People had lands to farm, either it's in your backyard or whatever. People at least had some farm. So even if you're going to the supermarket, you're picking, the only thing you're picking, maybe it's meat. But also if you could keep some few livestock, I don't know about the back history of black people, if they could keep livestock.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay,
they
yes.
did. They did keep livestock.
Yeah, so if you had some chicken, of course you go grab one, and that is a meal. So which actually explains why so people could spend just a little, because there was so much available already at that time.
Then the modern world arrived, and the experts told our grandparents the old ways were backward. Stop saving your own seed. Buy it new every spring. Stop putting food by in the cellar.
Same thing they tell the Africans now. Stop using your seeds. Buy our seeds. Same old parasitic shit.
Progress will feed you now. And here is the part nobody talks about. Within 2 generations, more than 90% of that land was gone. But the knowledge that built it never failed. It was simply set down and asked to stay quiet. Today, the same scientists who once called it backward have a new name for it. They call it regenerative. They call it sustainable. They call it the future. Number 16 on this list was the home medicine our grandmothers kept on a kitchen shelf, and the modern pharmacy traces some of its most trusted drugs straight back to it. And number 2 is the secret our ancestral grandmothers carried braided into their own hair across an ocean, an act history erased for 200 years. These skills weren't lost because they stopped working. They were lost because somebody profited the day we forgot them. So before we begin, take a second and subscribe, because this is our inheritance and it deserves to be kept alive. Number 25, saving your own seed. Every fall, the grandmothers who raised us walked the rows before the frost and chose.
Okay, just a minute. All right, there we got it.
Chose the strongest plants, the tomato that held longest, the bean that climbed highest, and set the seed aside in a jar on the windowsill. That seed was free and grew better suited to that patch of dirt every year. Then the seed companies came with hybrids whose seed would not breed true, so you had to buy again every spring. A garden that cost nothing became a yearly bill. But the seed savers were right. Heirloom seed libraries are opening across the country now. The one who keeps the seed keeps the freedom. Number 24, feeding the soil with peanuts and peas. Long before anyone said regenerative, black farmers knew that planting cotton in the same field year after year would bleed the ground dead. So they rotated. Cotton one year, peanuts or cowpeas or sweet potatoes the next, and the land came back to life. George Washington Carver, born enslaved in Missouri, taught this for decades, because those legumes pull nitrogen from the air back into the soil for free. The fertilizer companies preferred that you buy your nitrogen in a bag. When the boll weevil tore through the cotton south around 1915, the rotated peanut fields kept families fed. A century later, his crop rotation is still the foundation of sustainable farming.
Yep.
Number
Black people do they
23,
still.
planting crops that protect each other. Our people did not plant in lonely single rows. They learned, in part from the native peoples they traded with, to grow corn, beans, and squash together. The corn served as a pole for the beans fed the soil, and the squash leaves shaded out weeds. Industrial farming wanted one tidy crop it could harvest in a single pass, so companion planting was called inefficient. Now science calls it polyculture, and studies confirm it resists pests and drought better than any monocrop. The grandmothers knew. They just called it good sense. Number 22, the garden by the kitchen door. There was always a patch close enough to the back step to send a child for greens while the pot warmed. Collards, okra, tomatoes, not a hobby, but the difference between eating and not eat, throwing on lighting. When the cash economy and the company store moved in, growing your own meant you couldn't afford better. So the dooryard garden shrank, but every food security study today reaches the conclusion they lived. The household that grows its own food is harder to starve and harder to control. That patch by the door was never poverty. It was insurance. Number 21, keeping a flock of yard hens. A handful of chickens in the yard meant eggs, a little Sunday meat, and egg money that was often a black woman's own, spent without asking any man or any bank. Those hens turned scraps into food and fertilizer for almost nothing. Then towns passed ordinances against backyard livestock. The grocery sold you a carton, and that quiet independence disappeared. Today, cities coast to coast are repealing those ordinances, and backyard flocks are booming again. The hen in the yard was a tiny private economy, and our grandmothers ran it well. Notice the thread running through these first few: seed, soil, the garden, the flock. Everyone is a way of needing no permission, no seed salesman, no fertilizer bag, no company store, no bank. That is exactly why each came under pressure. A family that feeds itself cannot easily be told what to do. And that quiet self-possession was the most valuable thing a black household could own. These weren't just farm chores. They were the architecture of dignity. Let us keep going. Number 20, the sweet potato that carried families through winter. If one crop deserves a monument in black survival, it is the sweet potato. It grew in poor soil, stored for months without a refrigerator, and fed more per acre than almost anything else. Carver found over 100 uses for it because it kept families alive when the cotton money ran out. The cotton economy treated it as a peasant's food. Modern nutrition science calls it one of the most complete foods you can grow. Our grandmothers never needed a study. The sweet potato never let them down. Number 19. Breeding the wild for free food. When the garden was bare, the woods and roadsides were still a pantry. Poke salad, dandelion greens, lamb's quarter, wild onion, blackberries in the thicket. A free grocery store in the ditch, asking only that you know its names. As food went wrapped in plastic,
free grocery store in the ditch.
Shamed as something.
Long as long as not to some Negro you shot in the head and threw in the ditch. with it. Go ahead.
Only the desperate did, and it went quiet. Today, foragers pay good money to learn what our great-grandmothers taught for free, and nutritionists confirm those wild greens often beat anything on a shelf. Our people knew how to listen. Number 18, drinking the pot liquor. When the grandmothers cooked greens low and slow, they never poured off the dark, rich broth at the bottom of the pot. That was the pot liquor, and they sopped it up with cornbread because they knew it.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting in
it held the goodness. For years, polite society dismissed it as poor folks' water, but it's plain biology. Boiled greens and the water-soluble vitamins leach into the liquid, so the broth was often more nourishing than the greens. Throwing it out was throwing out the medicine. Number 17, okara, food and remedy both. Okara came with our ancestors from West and Central Africa and did double duty in every black household.
That's the game from
It
Chicago.
thickened the gumbo and stretched the stew, and it was medicine. Katie Arbery, born enslaved, told an interviewer in the 1930s that when doctors gave her up to die, 3 weeks of okra soup brought her back. The food industry only ever saw okra as one vegetable among many. Today, researchers point to its fiber, its vitamin C, and its help with blood sugar. Our grandmothers grew it knowing it fed the body twice. Number 16, the medicine on the kitchen shelf. This is the one I teased at the start, long before there was a pharmacy in town, and through years when the law forbade black people from practicing medicine, our families healed themselves from the garden and woods. Willow bark for fever, sassafras, blackberry root, a whole shelf thrust from grandmother to granddaughter. Organized medicine dismissed it as superstition, and yet the modern pharmacy is built on those same plants. The willow bark our great-grandmothers steeped for aches contains salicin, the very compound behind aspirin. The remedies were not nonsense. They were knowledge, and the laboratory is still confirming it. Stop and feel the weight of that last one. There were years in this country when a black person could be punished for tending the sick, when a family had no doctor who would come and no hospital that would open its doors. And so our people became their own healers, grocers, and bankers, because the world had decided they were on their own. What looks like quaint folk knowledge was, in its time, a matter of life and death. That is not a sad story. That is one of the most remarkable acts of resilience in American history. Let us continue. Number 15, the granny midwives who brought us into the world. For generations, it was the granny.
How could you hate being black? That's why I think we love being black American. Our culture, our resilience of these motherfuckers taking everything from us, always trying to fuck us up. Always, you can't go to hospital. Okay, so we create our own shit. You know, I think that made us love our blackness even more. That these savages were so cruel and openly racist and hateful that we had to embrace our blackness. We had no choice. That's why I think, you know, I know they were cruel on the islands. They were cruel in Africa. They were cruel everywhere they went. But something about us made us say, "Fuck that." So what? You know, we're black. So what if you don't like it? Go ahead, Joe.
Midwife who delivered nearly every black child in the rural South. Skilled women carrying knowledge handed down from midwife to apprentice, often the only trained hands for miles. They knew birth. They knew herbs. They knew how to keep a mother and baby alive where no hospital would take them. Beginning in the 1920s, new licensing laws slowly regulated those women out of existence. We're only now recognizing what we lost. Midwife-attended birth is honored again as safe and valuable. The granny midwives held entire bloodlines in their hands. Number 14, curing meat in the smokehouse. Out behind the house stood the smokehouse, where the year's pork hung salt rubbed over a slow, cool hickory smoke for weeks until it would keep a year with no ice and no electricity. When the refrigerator and the supermarket arrived, we were told the smokehouse was a relic. But walk into any fashionable restaurant now, and you'll pay a premium for house-cured artisanal smoked meats, the exact craft our grandfathers practiced behind the house for free. They made a single hog feed a family until the next one, a skill worth more than ever. Number 13, sealing meat under its own fat. Here is one almost completely forgotten. After cooking, our great-grandmothers packed meat into a crock and poured rendered lard over the top, sealing it under a white layer that locked out air for months in the cellar. No refrigeration at all. The fat became the very thing that preserved the meat. The appliance industry sold us the idea that food was unsafe without a machine. The French called this confit and put it on white tablecloths. Our families called it Tuesday. That grease jar on the stove was chemistry our grandmothers mastered without a textbook.
There go getting that goddamn grease.
Number 12, putting up the harvest in jars. Late summer in a black farmhouse meant the kitchen ran hot for days, with the grandmothers putting up the garden into rows of glass jars, sealing tomatoes and beans and peaches against the winter to come. A full pantry shelf in October.
Yeah, like shit like this, like I'm saying. Who knows how to do this? You know, my grandmother knew how to do this. You know, your grandmother, who knows how to preserve food anymore? That knowledge is, I mean, I gotta go on YouTube to learn, but that knowledge was lost. That was the norm in black households, preserving food. You know, you're a kid, like, what's all this shit there? you know, you youngest, you're like, what's all this shit? Because in California, we didn't have basements like you guys do in the Northeast, like Pittsburgh. We had a garage, so my grandmother had all that shit in the garage. Because there wasn't no, California houses are not built with basements. So I'm like, what's all this shit out of here? What's all this shit? You know, what's all this food up in these cans? What is this shit? I just didn't know. But anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Canning has come roaring back. The principle holds. The family that puts food by controls its own table. Those gleaming jars were security you could see on a shelf. Number 11, the root cellar in the cool of the earth, dug into a hillside. The root cellar held potatoes, turnips, cabbages, and apples all winter. The coolness of the earth keeping them sound for months. The supermarket's promise of any food in any season made the cellar seem pointless. So we forgot it. Now, as people look to eat without depending on a fragile supply chain, the root cellar is rediscovered as quietly brilliant. Our
Introducing Clip B. Whatever you can picture.
Yep, our grandparents did all that, exactly. And then because our grandparents grew up, of course, but my grandparents are really the last string the last string back to slavery. Because, you know, slavery is not even old for us, right? It's not even, so our grandparents, because our grandparents grew up during the Great Depression, right? They were coming to adulthood when the country was really fucked up and out of work, the Great Depression, and their families coming. That's how really close we are to our grandparents. Really, are slavery's not even that old when you think of it, because you remember, you got to think that our grandparents, or sometimes even their parents were slaves. That's how crazy that shit is. Either our grandparents' grandparents or our grandparents' parents, because they might have had a kid later on in life. Because either our grandparents, that's how, wow. Either our grandparents were slaves, or our grandparents' parents were slaves, born in slavery. That's how close this shit touches us. Wow, I didn't even think about it like that. Wow, that's crazy. Go ahead, Joe.
Have you noticed that nearly every modern convenience in this story was sold to us as freedom and quietly cost us a freedom we already had? The refrigerator, the supermarket, the bottled medicine.
We didn't know no better. We were stupid.
Each was real progress, and each moved a little more control out of our hands and into a company's. Our great-grandparents already held that control. They were the supply chain. They were the pharmacy. They were the bank. Remembering these skills isn't romanticizing hard times. It's seeing how much power our people held when the world gave them almost nothing. Let us bring it home. Number 10, banking sweet potatoes in the ground. Here is a beautiful, nearly lost trick. To keep sweet potatoes through the winter, our people built a bank, a mound of straw and pine needles over the potatoes, capped with soil to shed the rain. And that little earthen dome held the harvest sweet and sound for months. Modern storage made us forget it entirely, but gardeners who try it find it works exactly as the old folks said. Our grandmothers turned a pile of dirt and straw into a root cellar in miniature. Genius rarely looks humbler. Number 9, drying the harvest on a string. Before the freezer, our families dried what they grew. Apple rings strung up to leather in the sun, green beans threaded on a long cord and hung to dry into what folks called leather breeches, soaked and stewed in the dead of winter. Drying took nothing but AIR and patience, and the food kept nearly forever. Today, dehydrated food is a health store darling, sold at a markup our great-grandmothers would have laughed at. They preserved a garden on a piece of thread. Waste not, want not. They meant it. Number 8, making your own sweetener. Come fall, whole communities press sorghum cane and boil the juice into thick golden syrup, a year's sweetness from a crop you grew yourself, no store required. The refined sugar industry made white sugar so cheap that the sorghum mill fell silent across the South. But as people turned back toward whole, unrefined sweeteners, real sorghum syrup is prized again. Our people made their own sweetness from their own ground, something worth remembering. Number 7, the community hog killing. When the first hard cold came, the neighborhood gathered for hog killing day, shared work, shared bounty, so no family did the hardest job alone and all went home with meat. As meatpacking consolidated into distant companies and regulations made home butchering harder, those days faded. The whole animal movement chefs talk about now, our great-grandparents lived it every winter together. The hog killing fed bodies and bound a community in the same cold morning.
Because we're communal people.
Number 6,
African people, you know, African people are communal. They destroyed that with us. African people we're communal. These people are not. We're community. We're community by nature. We're communal. We're not go our own way, be independent and all that shit. We're communal. We believe in community. Go ahead, Joe.
Single part. From that hog, nothing was wasted. The hams and shoulders cured, the fat rendered to lard and salt.
Oh, we got that hog head cheese shit Joey was talking about yesterday.
Ears and chitlins.
Chitlins. Oh man, chitlins and all. See the feet, the pig foot. I'm not eating none of that shit. I'm not eating no chitlins. I'm not eating no feet. And I'm not eating no head. See, back in them days, we got to whip little Keith's ass. He's uppity. I'm not eating that shit. Go ahead, Joe.
Eaten, the bones boiled to flavor beans. What the comfortable world threw away, our people turned into food, fuel, and flavor. For a long time, that thrift was dismissed as the cooking of those who had no choice. Now, nose to tail eating is celebrated as ethical and refined. Our grandmothers were never crude. They were masters of using everything well. We're close to the top now, and the skills are getting bigger than any single garden or kitchen, because the deepest thing our ancestors knew was that no family survives alone. The seed saving, the hog killing, the midwife, the healing.
Community.
Everyone ran on community and on knowledge.
Exactly. That's what you said before. You said, I know you said it. Exactly. African people are communal. And why you see the same shit in Africa? We're communal people. We need each other. We're community. We're not going alone and be by myself and all that old crazy white people shit. We believe in community. We won't survive without community. That's who we are. We are communal people. We thrive when we're together. We thrive on Ubuntu. I am because you are. You are because I am. That's how we're designed. Go ahead, Joey.
The wider world spent a long time trying to break that apart.
Exactly.
Succeeded. And these last few skills are the reason
why. To break it up. That's why black men and black women are at odds. I don't need no man. I don't need you, nigga. Blah, blah, blah. That ain't our culture. We need each other. You out of your fucking mind? We need each other, you morons. We can't survive without one another. We need each other. That's who we are as a people. We ain't got no, I don't need no man, I don't need no woman type shit. We need each other. That's who we are as people. Oh, but go ahead, Joe.
Number 5, building their own banks and safety nets. Locked out of white banks and denied insurance, our people built their own. Mutual aid societies, burial societies, and cooperative buying clubs let families pool money to bury their dead with dignity, lend to a neighbor, and buy supplies together at a fair price. When the bank wouldn't lend to you and the insurer wouldn't cover you, the community became the bank and the insurer. That tradition runs straight into the black credit unions and farming cooperatives still fighting today. Like the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, a people shut out simply built their own. That is genius under pressure.
And pause it, and that's great. See, that's what we're going back to now. None of this integration shit. We need to build our own shit. No going to white people shit. Build our own stuff. That's why they started with that MLK shit. Oh, let's all integrate. Nah, fuck that. We integrate and lost everything. We integrate and lost every damn thing. So no integration. Go ahead, Joe.
Trading work, seed, and knowledge instead of cash. In a world that kept cash deliberately scarce, where the sharecropper often ended the year owing the very man he worked for, our people built an economy the company store couldn't control. You helped raise my barn. I brought in your harvest. You shared your college seed.
I shared what barter. A barter. We did a barter system. Hey, we told you, barter system. You got something I need. I got something you need. Barter. Go ahead.
About your sick cow. No one could put a lien on a favor. The cash economy worked hard to replace all of that. But this is exactly the kind of network people are trying to rebuild now. A community that trades and trusts is rich in a way money can't touch. Number 3, teaching it all to the children. Here is the skill that made every other skill possible. Our people taught their children on purpose every single day. A girl learned canning at her grandmother's elbow. A boy learned the rows behind his father, the medicine, the seasons, the seed, the soil. All of it passed by hand and voice because no book or school would carry it for them. That deliberate teaching is the only reason any of this survived slavery and Jim Crow. And it is exactly what got interrupted. When the knowledge stopped being passed on, it did not die because it was wrong. It went quiet because the generation was not shown, which means it can be taught again. That is the whole reason this list exists. Number 2, the seed carried across the water. This is the one I promised you. Before the slave ships, our ancestral grandmothers in West Africa, expert farmers in their own right, braided seeds of okra, rice, black-eyed peas, melon, and sorrel into their own hair. They carried the future in their hair across the most brutal ocean crossing in history, believing their descendants would one day plant again. That rice knowledge was so advanced that Carolina planters sought enslaved Africans from the rice coast, and an entire American fortune, Carolina Gold Rice, was built on West African expertise. For 2 centuries, the history books gave the credit to Europeans. Now scholars have set the record straight.
The Europeans know how to farm. Exactly. Europeans know how to farm shit. We're not growing. There was nobody making no rice in no fucking Europe. Motherfucker was always backward and starving. They came to get Africans so they could steal their knowledge and enslave them, have them build their fucking wealth for their ass for free. Go ahead,
and for African. The genius was African. They braided the seed into their hair. Everything else on this list grew from it. Number 1, the understanding that land and self-reliance are the same thing as freedom. Every skill we've counted down points to this one truth, and our people understood it in their bones. A family that could save its own seed, feed its soil, heal its sick, store its women, and lean on its neighbors was free in a way no law could take away. That is why our great-grandparents reached for land the moment freedom came. built 19 million acres out of nothing in 2 generations, and why so much effort went into taking it back.
To destroy it.
Land was never just dirt to our people. It was the ground you stood on and owed no one for. The seed in the hair, the garden by the door, the bank you built yourselves, the children you taught, all of it was one idea. We will provide for ourselves with dignity and pass that power to our children. That is the inheritance. That is what kept them alive. And it has been waiting quietly for us to pick it back up.
Gather back up.
Here is my challenge, and it's a gentle one. Don't try to do all 25. Just pick one this week. 1, save a jar of seed from a tomato you loved. Plant a few collards by your back door. Ask the oldest person in your family what their grandmother grew and write it down before it goes quiet. Just one thread. Pick back up. I'll tell you honestly, since I started learning these, I keep a grease jar on my own stove now, the way my people did, and a little row of beans out back.
I don't keep no grease jar, nigga.
It's a small thing, but every time I use it, I feel that line stretching back through the generations, unbroken, all the way to a woman with seeds braided in her hair who believed I would exist. So tell me in the comments.
Yeah, so that has been literally our stories for today. And looking at also some of the things to add on what is mentioned, some of the 8 world known, I don't know if it's well known, but I'm going to say African traditional ways of storing or preserving food. We have, of course, sun drying. I think he mentioned that, where you can sun dry foods like meat, fish, fruits like mangoes and bananas, vegetables like okra and pumpkin leaves, grains like maize, millet, and sorghum. That is one of the ways personally I've grown up preserving these kind of foods, especially maize, millet, sorghum, things like bananas, pumpkin leaves, and fish, and also meat. And we also have the second one, which is smoking over fire. I didn't mention that. He just mentioned the one of the meat, the oil grease of the meat, how you can use it to preserve meat. But you can also use smoking over fire. When you have like fire in the villages, that works so well because people still use the firewoods, so when you have firewoods burning and your food is cooking, you just put your maize, your fish, whatever, just on the top, and then they can preserve themselves. So of course we have meat, fish, which you can use preserve by smoking.
There's the Joby with a little bit of knowledge. You
Yeah,
get your ass
shit.
out of here.
Yeah. The benefits of growing up in Africa, shit. It's awesome. We also have smoking that does kill germs, that keeps insects away, and it also gives the food a nice smoky flavor, especially for meat and fish. And they're saying we also have salting, that is the third one. People use salt to keep fresh food for a long time. They rub salt on the food or mix with it, and this mostly is done with, again, meat and fish. So if you're a lover of meat and fish, these 3 formulas does work so well. That is the drying in the sun, smoking over fire, and salting. And then we have using ash or clay. This is used in mostly grains like maize, beans, millet, sorghum. Also, it does work well for avocados. If you want avocados to ripe very quick, you can use ash. If you want your bananas to ripe very quick, ash also works very, very quick, very, very well. So we also have the 5th one. And they're saying that also the benefits of using clay, it keeps also the insects away, and it blocks moisture. It blocks air and moisture, which cause food to spoil. We have another way is storing food in the ground. They're saying that people dug cool holes or pit in the ground to store food. They placed the food inside and covered it with leaves, grass, or soil. I know for the leaves that works very well for bananas. Grass, I'm not really sure. Soil, I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, they're saying this method was mostly used for roots, crops like cassava, yams, sweet potatoes, sometimes dried meat. And the soil helped the food to cool like natural fridge, dark away from sunlight and safe from animals and insects. Then the last three we have, of course, is storing food in oil, which he has mentioned. We also have using Annie, the seventh one, where you can use these to store foods like fruits like mangoes, sliced or berries, small pieces of cooked or dried food, and then nuts like ground nuts and almonds. And the eighth one is storing food in raised granaries. If I'm pronouncing correctly, again, goes back to the grains like maize, millet, sorghum, which was stored safely in this structure. So I do hope you've learned something on this. There's in communities like Tanzania, that is the Gogo people. Gogo people, yeah, in Tanzania built ground granaries and still store millet and sorghum, while the Shona people, Zimbabwe, use tall grains huts to keep harvest and safe throughout the year. So when you say these African huts that we normally have in the villages, they're not just huts, they're not just houses. These houses were used actually to preserve food. And actually, if you go to a hut, if there's something I love when I go to the village, and especially my grandma to be specific, because my uncle has a modern house, my grandma specifically, you find this. You're gonna find these huts, and they're so cool. You don't need no air conditioner, no nothing. It's cool. Like the house is cool. It's not cold, and neither is it hot. So this is actually a good area why Africans used to build these houses that the white people today are copy and pasting when they called us living in the poverty. It's crazy. Yes, as we wind up with today's conversation, shout out to Kay Williams for being with us this morning. Nice to see you on the chat, and have a beautiful day. You were saying earlier, Katie's brown skin over here, maybe over there she's light skin. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's considered light skin. Yeah, she's not considered brown skin. Even Iwanton is considered light skin. And then you're saying that yes, the government is allowing that they let it be sold over. Exactly. So the ban is not even, it doesn't come with strict measures or even consequences, because that's why people actually are still doing it. And you can't change the people's mentality. They're fucked up, sadly. They're fucked up, they are fucked up. And K. Williams also says that is pure self-hate. You are right. How much does that cream cost over there? Man, I don't know, because I don't buy them. So I'll be the wrong person to ask. I'll be totally the wrong person to ask that question. And then you also said is Keith was saying, isn't it funny? Only Black American that values our blackness. Exactly, we've discussed that. And K. Williams says, did you see that video over here? What is Black immigration over here? Praying for the Asians for the boycott and end pure madness traitors. Excuse me. We also have Jiba Jaba. Karibu sana. Hope you're doing amazing this morning on your end. It's 3:55 in the 254. Jiba says, Grandma had us use scrub our black knees and elbows with Comet cleanser or bath time. As we have a specific stone that we use for the, what's it called? The lower part of your foot, the back part of your foot, literally. And then also Jibajaba is saying her generation would buy dark spot remover. Preserving eggs with eye, okay. And then she'd hot water can in a mason jar. That's interesting. And you're also adding your mom made a cold elixir. Am I pronouncing it correctly? I don't want to pronounce it wrongly. Onion, garlic, honey, and cider vinegar. That's amazing to see that your mom actually carried that from 2 generations, I'd say, because if you look at this information, it's from our greats. So if you have a grandparent who actually still applied this, and then your parent applied this, that is some good information, literally going all the way down generations. And saying 100% get some of the green boys. And then says sassafras tea is delicious. I use the bark. That's interesting. You love being black. Interesting. Very amazing. Saying that then she went to freezing everything as she got older. Of course, with the modernization, people are literally being forced to adapt to some things. It's not even optional. It's like being forced. You're saying honkies are a trip. They flip everything after they convince us it's bad for you. And then he's saying that can of grease gets funky. They say 55-gallon drum makes a good homemade smoker. And then you're saying you enjoyed the discussion. I'm glad you did. But have yourself a beautiful rest part of your morning. That has been my time this morning. See you guys, of course, later on the Africa Today show. But we should be coming back with the reaction time guided by Shimani. So have yourselves a beautiful rest part of your morning, family. Peace, and I'm out.